Snake, Rattle, and Roll is one of the most difficult games for the NES, but it's also one of the most fun. It's a 3D isometric platforming game featuring 11 challenging stages. Players control the titular snakes, named Rattle and Roll, as they navigate through the environment, eating nibbly-pibblies which increase the snake's length and will allow them to open the weight-activated door at the end of the level. If you liked Marble Madness but were disappointed there was no sequel on the NES, Snake, Rattle, and Roll is the next best thing. The game was developed by Rare, who had made some of the most challenging games on the NES, including Wizards and Warriors 2, Cobra Triangle, and of course, Battletoads. They had actually designed the NES port of Marble Madness in 1989, although it was published in North America by Milton Bradley. They knew the smooth scrolling technology they created for that game could be applied to make something new and original. Programmer Mark Bettridge had discovered that impressive 3D graphics could be built using simple tile patterns that used minimal memory space. These basic shapes were used to create a large three-dimensional game world within the confines of a tiny NES cartridge. Rare's Tim Stamper worked on the game concepts, which focus on the snakes climbing a mountain so they can ascend from the summit to outer space. It can be hard to appreciate while playing the game, but all of the levels are interconnected, creating a logical mountain surrounded by water and capped with ice. The game's title is a play on the 1954 song Shake, Rattle, and Roll that was popularized by Bill Haley and the Comets. Composer David Wise created an 8-bit version of the song and used it as a jumping-off point for the rest of the soundtrack, which is all inspired by 50s-era music and is one of the most unique-sounding games on the NES. The game was released in 1990, and while it did receive many positive reviews, it did not sell very well. Rare had hoped to follow it up with a sequel called Snakes in Space, but it was never released. They did, however, create a Game Boy sequel called Sneaky Snakes, but it was a more basic two-dimensional game, and while it's not bad, it isn't the sequel that fans had hoped for. In modern times, the game has become a cult classic and is still appreciated by the critics of today. When IGN released their list of the top 100 NES games of all time, they ranked Snake, Rattle, and Roll at number 32. If you want to play Snake, Rattle, and Roll on a modern platform, it is included in the Rare Replay collection for the Xbox One. Modern players that attempt this game will still have to deal with all of the challenges the NES is notorious for. The isometric controls take some getting used to, and the platforming is extremely precise. One false move will cost you a life, and you have a very limited number of them before it's game over. But what if I told you about secret shortcuts that can make the difficult levels much easier? What if I told you about hidden warp zones that can skip you through most of the game? And what if I told you how to beat all of the game's challenging levels? Even the insanely difficult ice zones? Well, on today's episode of You Can Beat Video Games, we'll learn all of that and more. If you're new to the channel, we're doing deep dives on retro video games and giving you the professional strategies that can be used by the casual gamer. Please make sure to subscribe and click the bell for notifications so you don't miss any new videos. Let's get started. Alright, Snake, Rattle, and Roll. There are a lot of secrets in this game, and that's why we're going to start out with not one, but two different warp zones in the very first level. If you jump onto this little island and press the B button, you'll suck everything in and be taken to level 3. That one's easy to do. The other one's a bit more difficult. You need to hold right and move very quickly, jump over these small patches of water, and if you make it to the end fast enough, you can jump into that spaceship, and it'll take you all the way to level 8, which is a very handy warp zone if you need to practice the endgame levels, which are quite difficult. The first level is called Grassy Greens, and if we press the B button on top of these lids, they'll flip over and we can find items underneath. Hold up and wait for the shark here. The shark will deal you a bit of damage, but it'll actually vault you up, and that's the only way to get this extra life on top of the waterfall. This item will extend the length of our snake's tongue, and over here we'll find a Nibbly Pibbly dispenser, which will spit out these pibballs, which are a favorite food of our snake. We can try to eat them, or we can jump over here and go inside this lid by pressing the B button, which will take us to a bonus stage. To make the snake grow 1 unit of length, we need 4 Nibbly Pibbly points, and the colors matter. The yellow ones are worth the most at 3, the ones that match our color are worth 2, and the bluish ones are only worth 1. If we rapidly attack this Bigfoot enemy, we can kill it, and we'll get an extra life. Pretty nice. And if you jump up on top of this Nibbly Pibbly dispenser, we can get a clock item, which will increase our time by 25 seconds. Hit the bell there, and if we have enough length on the snake, it'll ring and open the door. If not, we'll need to eat a few more Nibbly Pibblies, and we can find a yellow one underneath this lid, and there should be a red one underneath this one. Once you've consumed enough Nibblies, go through the door, and we'll be on to level 2. We're still not going to be at the top of the mountain here in level 2, which is called the Jaws Shores. But we will be taking advantage of that shark a few more times to get some power-ups that would normally be out of reach. Open up these lids and grab the Nibbly Pibblies. We can wait down here in the water and let the shark bounce us up so we can get this tongue extension, and we can use that tongue extension to attack these mushroom enemies. Notice that the Nibbly Pibblies in this stage, which are called the Leaping Pibble Springs, or Pibble Boings, can be very fast, especially in the yellow variety. That diamond item will make us invincible for a while, and this crank will make us move more quickly. There's actually a second one of those underneath that lid. And be careful of this lid up here. It contains an enemy, the Crazy Seat. Let the shark hit you over in this corner and you can bounce up and get an extra life, and you want to come down to the left there so that you don't fall. If we open up this lid, we'll find a bonus stage. Inside we can eat a few more of those Pibble Springs and gain some length on our snake. If they get the whole way around the bonus stage, they could escape, so make sure to eat them all before that happens. Back outside, we can flip a few more lids. Over here there's a yellow Pibble Spring, and under this one on the island there's a clock which will give us 25 more seconds of time. Up here we can grab another diamond for invincibility, although be cautious of the water. There's a heavy current there and it could knock you over the edge and you could lose a life. If you quickly attack that Bigfoot, you can get another extra life. And you just want to jump over to this platform, attack the mushroom, and we'll check the way in. Yes, we do have enough length. And you can jump from the dispenser here onto this higher platform, and then just climb up onto the top and carefully drop down into the door. That'll take us on to level 3. We're going to move a bit away from the water's edge and climb a bit further up the mountain here in level 3. Which is called the Razor Ravine. Be cautious of the currents here, they can be very strong. Try to avoid the water as much as you can as you jump over and get that tongue extension, which you can use to fight these Crazy Seats. If you hold the B button in, you can use that to help you fight the currents in the water. You want to be able to grab that extra life, but you don't want to go over the edge because you'll die. Be very careful trying to pick up this tongue extension as well. You need to hold against the current and also be holding in the B button. If you jump over to this lid, we can find a bonus stage where we can eat ourselves some Nibbly Pibblies. These ones are called the Athletic Pibble Joggers, and they're a little bit faster than some of the other ones we've eaten so far. Once we emerge from the bonus stage, carefully jump back to the land. Over here, this yellow crazy seat guards a very important item. That snake head is an additional continue, so definitely don't miss that item. Underneath these lids, we can grab a couple yellow nibbly pibble joggers, and then carefully walk down here. That item is actually a trap. It reverses your controls, although it is worth some points. If you get it, try to kind of work it off a bit, and wait for it to wear off before you jump across this ravine. On the other side, there's some blades, but if we have the invincibility from that diamond, we should be safe. Inside this lid, we'll find a speed up crank, and you can actually use that to jump farther, so we can jump all the way over here and open this lid, where we'll get a clock which will restore 25 seconds of our time. And down here we can find a second bonus stage. It's the same bonus stage that we played before, so eat up as many nibbly pibblies as you can. We should have no problem at the weigh-in this time. We're already long enough. You can tell because the last section of the snake is flashing, so that means we should be able to pass any of those weigh-ins that we see. There's another crazy seed underneath here. I wonder if there's some kind of statement they're trying to make about the fear of a snake coming out of a toilet. I'm not sure, but you can open up that lid to get a gem and make yourself invincible. And if you hop into the water here, be careful of your current, and stay on the stable platforms as you jump across. If you rapidly attack this Bigfoot, you can get an extra life, and then we'll weigh ourselves in, which will open the door, and then take a nice big leap across, and we'll be on to level 4. There is a warp zone in here. If you have that speed up item, and you jump to where that clock is, you can actually jump over to that farther platform, and then jump back over on top, where we can open up this lid, and warp to level 5. But before we play level 5, let's take a look at level 4, which is called Anvil Alley. There's a speed up item in the first lid, and then we can get a tongue extension. We'll grab a nibbly pibbly from the second lid, and under here it looks like there's an extra life, but that's actually a trap. It turns into a bomb and will explode. Over here we can find an off-color nibbly pibbly, and if we go to this spot we can easily take out that yellow crazy seat that's moving very quickly. Grab the tongue extension and then head over to this area with the nibbly pibbly dispenser. You can take some time here and eat the nibblies. They're called elusive pibble splats in this stage, but they're not actually that important. If we destroy this Bigfoot, you may get an extra life, although I've had it drop a bomb instead before. It seems to be random. Up here we can destroy that pin cushion and grab another diamond for invincibility, and if we're quick we can grab a yellow nibbly pibbly underneath that lid. Over here we can get another tongue extension, and then this speed up may actually make this jump a bit easier, so it'll give you a bit more oomph in your jump. Watch out for the blades. They are near any of those blue pillars, so that's a good way to tell that there's going to be a blade there. And if you carefully jump across and enter this lid, we can find a bonus stage. Down here in the bonus stage, we can eat 5 of those elusive pibble splots, and after we've consumed them all, we actually have enough length in our snake to activate the weigh station at the end. If you jump across here, and then jump over to this side, you can open this lid, and you can grab a clock item, which will add 25 seconds to our time. And then you need to be careful up here. If you get hit by an anvil, it will crush your snake, and you'll lose a life, and you'll lose all of your sections. It's not that big of a disaster, because you can trick that yellow anvil into landing on the weigh station, and activating it for you. So that's a good trick. If you don't have enough weight on your snake, you can just get that anvil to drop right on the weigh station, and it won't matter at all. And we've made it to level 5, the Arabian Plains. I assume it's called that because of all the magic carpets we'll need to navigate to get through this one. At the beginning of the level, there are 2 tongue extensions, and we can get this one by jumping to the magic carpet when it's in the middle of the water. And the second one, we should just leap to the island and try to avoid the water. There's a pretty strong current there, and you don't want to fall over the waterfall. jump to the magic carpet and make it across to this area where there's a dispenser of Nibbly Pibblies. These ones are called airborne pibblebats. We can flip that one lid and we'll be able to get a diamond for invincibility, but we want to try to avoid that reverse arrow, which can mess up your controls and could throw you off. Once we have enough length to activate the way station, which should be pretty soon if we can just get maybe one more, that'll do it. We should line up here and then just hurry to the end and jump hard. You can make it across there, and then you won't have to mess with any more of these magic carpets or the snake dozers, which can knock you off the bottom. It's a pretty good shortcut. Up here we can try to attack the Bigfoot. You need to attack it fairly rapidly to be able to destroy it. And this time it dropped a bomb, although it usually drops an extra life, but not always. So be on the lookout and watch out for bombs instead of extra lives, and we're going to hit that way station and jump up on this magic carpet to get to the end. This part's a little bit tricky. Ride the magic carpet here, and when it flashes you want to jump straight up in the air, and at the end you want to jump across, and be careful of that reverse arrow. You may need to reverse your controls to be able to enter the door, which is what I did there. The last thing you want to do is accidentally just walk off the edge because your controls are reversed. This is level 6, Cannon Bell Canyon. We don't need to collect any Nibbly Pibblies in this one, so don't worry about that tongue extension at the beginning. Make your way up here and just try to jump over that doom bell. And watch out for those purple squares on the wall. Those are snake dozers, and they'll try to push you off, and you end up either falling and losing a life, or down at a lower level and you'll have to climb back up. We can destroy this bell if you rapidly attack it with your tongue, and you want to jump over to the side here, get up on the same platform as the doom bell and attack it. So do the same thing here, and if we attack from this upper corner, we shouldn't get hit by that bell. Make your way up here and you want to jump across so you don't get pushed off by that snake dozer. And over here you're going to need to push against the current and hold in the B button to avoid falling off from the waterfall. The platforming needs to be very precise up here. If you land in the water you can try to fight the current and get back to the land, but there's a good chance you might fall off and lose a life. Up here, the only way to really avoid these doom bells is to jump across quickly. If one of them lands on you, that's instant death. Make your way across. We're waiting for a unique item here, the fishtail. You can see it spawned at the lower level. We need one to spawn on this level or we won't be able to make it up the waterfall in time. There's a good one. Grab that fishtail, and when you get into the waterfall, you need to press A and B alternating at a rapid pace. So A, B, 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 A, B. Just keep doing that until you get to the top of the waterfall. And then if you're feeling daring, you can jump to the left and try to get an extra life. Although you can just get out of the water there on the right side if you want to skip this. Make your way across the top. You don't want to fall off the back. Jump over. And we're going to need to make some careful jumps here, so just jump all the way over those ones. You can skip some of them and attack the doom bell at the bottom. Try to avoid that Bigfoot, he's tough to beat. And don't jump on the platform that has the snake dozer. You'll need to fight the current there a bit, jump ahead of the snake dozer, and then just walk off the edge and into the door. We've done it. We've completed stage 6, but wait. There's actually the game's final warp zone in here. Make your way across this bottom ledge, and when you get to the end, you can actually jump down to that pink part below. Down here, we just need to get to that lid that you can see, and that's where the warp zone is, which will take us to level 8. But before we go on to level 8, we should probably do level 7 first, which is called the Fountain Mountain. Take out these metal trees with your tongue. Once again, we don't need to collect Nibbly Pibblies in this stage, and this is actually kind of a cool one. If you look at a bird's eye view of this area, it actually spells out the words Nintendo Game Boy. Perhaps that's a foreshadowing that the only sequel to this game would appear on Nintendo's portable system? I don't know. Make sure to grab that tongue extension, and then you want to attack this bouncing gold tree from this position. You'll eventually destroy it, and then you can move carefully through the bottom. Jump across, avoiding the water. Of course, there are some strong currents there, which could knock you off the edge. But we are going to want to chance it, because that's another extra continue in the water over there. So we're going to jump in there and try to stay off of the edge. If you do go over, you are gaining more lives than you lost as long as you collect the continue. The stage wraps back around to the left here, and you don't want to jump across until you destroy the metal tree. So stay in the middle of the platform and attack it from there, and your tongue length should be long enough to hit it from where you're at. So just attack these trees and then jump across. With no nibbly pibblies to eat, we only have one section of snake, so we can only take one hit before the next one is fatal, and you just need to be very careful in this area. Here, we want to jump over to this edge, and we should be able to hit the bouncing metal tree from up here. Jump across to the next one, and stay up in this corner. You don't want to get hit by this guy. Jump across, and then jump across again, and we've finished this part of the level, and now we can go back over to the right across the top. Up here there's some bowling balls, so you'll see where they actually drop. They always drop in the same places, so watch out for them. If they land on you, that's instant death. Here we can grab a clock item, and we're going to see the not-so-easy geysers. Yeah, these things are tricky. From up here, we can actually hit that bouncing tree, and you just want to fight the current and slide into the geyser here. So stay in the bottom part and wait for the geyser to pick you up. And you can see that's the M in Game Boy that we're standing on right now. Make sure to get rid of that bouncing tree and then get into the water and bounce up onto the E. And you'll want to jump up, but quickly jump down because it'll spawn those metal trees. So take out the one on the left, and then you can jump over to here. And from this position, we're waiting for a good geyser to get on. So there's one right there, and that will bounce us up. You need to be careful of this bouncing metal tree, which we should be able to take out from this position. And just wait right here until a geyser appears, and you can just bounce onto it. And we're going to summon another metal tree up there, so take him out. And once you get rid of him, you can go up onto the top of the O and use the geyser in the middle to bounce up onto the Y. Over here we need to clear one more metal tree, and this jump can be very tricky. Wait here until you see the ripple in the water and jump right on top of it. That's the best way to do it. The geyser should pick you up and you can make it over to the end. Don't even mess around with the big foot. Just get by it and go through the door. You can pat yourself on the back because level 7 is pretty tough. Level 8, Snake Lakes, is actually a bit easier. You're going to jump into the water here and you'll end up under it. Grab that tongue extension and you're going to try to eat the fish. The best way to get the fish is to try to line up your snake's shadow with the fish's shadow, and then start rapidly pressing the B button to get it with your tongue. There are yellow fish, red fish, blue fish, but also black fish. The black fish need to be hit several times with your tongue, and if you do that, they'll turn into a yellow fish. You need to get enough snake length to open the door, and it'll make a noise when it does. And then you'll go through, but you'll lose all of your length and have to do it again on the other side. Down here we can find another tongue extension, which is nice. You need to make sure to grab enough fish so that you don't run out of fish and don't have enough length to open the door. That's something that can actually happen. So make sure the fish don't swim away. You need to eat them quickly, especially the yellow ones and the black ones. The black ones are just as good as the yellow one, they just take a little bit more work. So we're going to try to line up with this one, or we can get this red one, which is worth 2 nibbly pibbly points. Not bad. These fish are called the aquatic pibblefish. shouldn't take too many more now. We do need to be cognizant of the timer. You can definitely run out of time in this level, and if you do, you'll lose a life. To that end, whenever we come down here, there's actually a clock power-up, so you don't want to miss that before you go into the water. When you come out, it won't be there anymore. Down here, we're eating more aquatic pibblefish. Honestly, I think this is one of the easier levels in the game, and that's really nice of the developers because levels 9 and 10 are insane. Those levels are quite difficult, so enjoy the break while you can have it. And don't miss, there's an extra life down here in the bottom. You don't want to go all the way off the screen, you can die. But you want to pick that up, and there's also a speed up crank that we can use if you want to get a little bit of extra speed, so we can save some time down here in the water. Just keep eating the aquatic pibblefish. That's all you need to do here in level 8. This one's just not that tough. We can grab a nice yellow one. It'll add to our length. Quickly hit this black one several times and it'll turn yellow. And we did it again. Let's go through the door and on to the next lake. But before we go on to the next lake, if you jump across here, we can get a clock and then use that geyser to get back up on top. If you need the time, it's worth doing. There's another tongue length extender down here. So now we have some serious tongue length. We should have no problem fishing at this point. So just keep on eating the aquatic pibblefish. Yeah, delicious. I like the way that it spits out the fins after it eats it. Nice. And you want to stay away from those pointy pillars in the background. If you touch those, you can actually die. So don't do that, and don't fall off the edge either. Or run out of fish. Make sure that you eat enough fish. Those are the only ways you can die down here, though. Well, aside from running out of time. And that's it. Avoid the current, don't let it knock you off the edge. And we can go through, and we're on to level 9. Level 9 is called Slippery Slopes, and you're going to quickly realize that every level up until this point has been easy, because level 9 is crazy difficult. It's a platforming game, so of course there is going to be an ice level eventually, and we're near the summit here, so yeah, the whole thing is covered in ice, which is going to make the going difficult here. Jump across that sloped area and watch out for that ice cube. Whenever you're on these slopes, you need to hold the direction on the control pad that goes against the slope, or you will quickly slide off. You can hold two directions at the same time, as long as one of them is the direction that goes against the slope, and now that's the shortcut there. You want to jump from there to that platform, and you'll be able to quickly make it up to this area where the Nibbly Pibbly dispenser is. The Nibbly Pibblies here are called shy pibblecopters, and we want to try to eat those shy pibblecopters while avoiding activating that ice foot. It's a relative of the Bigfoot enemies we fought before, but the ice foot takes a lot more damage to kill, and if you stop tongue attacking it for even a second, it will regenerate all of its health. So if you stay down in that corner, we can get all of the length that we need without activating the ice foot. And then we can do a bit of a shortcut here, jump from there over to this side. We'll miss that clock, but it's okay, we have plenty of time. We'll also avoid getting hit by one of those snowballs. That snowball is a one-hit kill. Same thing here, there's a little shortcut, and then you want to jump over to this area and try to make it up to the door. If you fall off down there, you'll lose a life, but hopefully you'll respawn on the side near the door, and it shouldn't be too hard to get up there with only losing 1 or maybe 2 lives. And level 9 was difficult, but level 10 may be one of the most heinous video game levels ever created by human beings. This is Ice Cube Cliffs. Carefully make your way across these sloped areas, avoiding the instant death snowballs. It takes a ton of hits to take out that ice foot. Don't even try to kill it, just stay away from it while you eat those shy pibblecopters. You just want to avoid it and try not to get stomped. It'll just keep moving around in a clockwise circle, and you also want to be careful not to be tempted off the edge by some of these pibblecopters. You can just kind of move them off the screen and you'll get the dispenser to shoot out some new ones. Try to just grab the ones that you can, especially the yellow ones, and you want to try to grab them right as they come out of the dispenser, although give it a little bit of space in case it shoots out a bomb. You don't want to take any damage, that will be counterproductive. And you're waiting for the tail segment to flash. Once you have it, we can go down to the bottom. That's where the way station is. This is tricky. If you're truly daring, we can get an extra life down on the bottom. It's probably not worth it. You just need to hold against the slope and get down to the edge and grab it. But there's a good chance you might lose a few lives trying to get that extra one, so I kind of recommend avoiding it. Now, this part's tough. You need to get over to the slope up above, and you can do it from here. It's tricky, but it's probably easier than going all the way down to the bottom. Watch out for that snowball, though. There it is, we did it. We're going to probably need that clock, so we'll pick it up and jump across. Steel yourself. This is the final climb. Watch out for those snowballs, they can be instant death. And climb up the sides. Make sure to press against whichever slope you see. And you're going to need to hold 2 directions to get across there and get up onto that platform. And then make your way up the far right side. Come back across to the left, and this part is very difficult to do without falling off the back. If you do fall off the back, that's okay, just keep trying to get higher on these platforms. If you can make it up to the top, that's also good, just take a jump from there and make it to the door. But if you lose a life or 2 up there, that's not always the worst. As long as you have a few lives in reserve, it's very possible to make it up that final climb. Level 11 is just a boss. This is the Lunar Showdown. Carefully get the tongue extension at the bottom. There's kind of wonky gravity up here, and you need to attack this thing just so quickly. Mash the button as fast as you possibly can. If you lit up for even a second, it will restore all of its health. And then you'll need to avoid those rocks, but they always do land in the same spot. Once you can get inside the UFO, hippity hip, hippity hop, Rattle and Roll are at the top. See you soon in Snakes in Space. Sadly, we know that Snakes in Space was a sequel that never got made. In a way, Rare did make Snakes in Space happen. What if I told you there was a version of this on the Sega Genesis? Or more accurately, on the Sega Mega Drive, because it was a European exclusive. Let's take a look at the end of that version. It's time for some bonus content. For the most part, the Mega Drive version is identical to the one on the NES. The graphics are just a little bit different and the soundtrack has changed. But you can use all the same tricks, the warp zones and the shortcuts, that sort of thing. All of that works. But there's a major difference after we finish the Lunar Showdown here. Instead of seeing the "See you soon, Snakes in Space" ending, we get this cutscene. It looks like the snakes encountered some asteroids. But it seems like everything's fine. Oh no, that's not good. An asteroid hit the snake ship, and it looks like we're going down. What is this strange alien world? Well, it's level 12, the Great Rocket Race. This level is insanely difficult. It's a bonus level that is not available on the NES version. The spaceship crashes, and you'll notice there's a T next to the timer this time. That's because if the timer runs out, you have to start the level over from the beginning, so you cannot afford to run out of time. Take out that Space Invader, and we need to eat some of these alien pibble bobbers. They'll come out of the dispenser. You want to try to grab them right as they come out of the dispenser, but give them a little bit of space because they could be bombs. You need to eat them very quickly and be mindful of the time. You'll also notice that the gravity is a lot lower in this area, a lot like the final level of the NES game. You can jump much farther up here, so you just want to jump all the way over whenever you have a long enough tail. And here's the way station, so hit that, avoid that computer monitor, and hit on this teleporter, which will take us up to the next level, but it does not restore our time. There is no time to mess around with that big foot. Just get on the right side here and start eating some alien pibble bobbers. Prioritize getting the yellow ones and the ones that match your color. We need to get a long enough snake to open another way station so that we can teleport up to the next level. Be careful, sometimes the pibble dispenser will throw out a bomb, so you don't want to lose any pieces of your snake. That will definitely set you back. Got that guy. Do we have enough yet? It'll be a very clear indication when you have enough length. There it is. So we need to head over to the left side. All the way to the left. Careful though. There it is. And we can go to the teleporter in the middle. The same one that we came out of. And that'll take us up to the third level. We only have 30 seconds right now, so we need to be fast. Head on over to the left side, and that's where the Nibbly Pibbly dispenser is on this level. There's a clock icon on the next level that'll give us more time, but if we can't get enough alien pibble bobbers in our stomach on this level fast enough, none of that'll matter, because if we run out of time, then you go back to the beginning of the level, all the way to the start. We do not want that to happen, so we need to eat these Nibbly Pibblies quickly. Alright, running out of time. We have enough length. We need to make it to the way station, 14 seconds, and to the teleporter in the middle. Once we get up to this next level, we need to hurry over to the right. That's where that clock icon is. We don't want to fall off the side though. We're just gonna have to jump over this guy. Oh. Okay, we got it. And here's the Nibbly Pibbly dispenser, and we got killed by that computer monitor. Alright, not a lot of lives left. Try to avoid that guy. We have some time now. Quickly eat as many Nibbly Pibblies as you can and just destroy that monitor if you have a chance. You'll need to rapidly attack it with your tongue to blow it up. A lot of bombs coming out now. We need legit alien pibble boppers. Come on. Not a lot of time left. 25 seconds. Eat these things as fast as you can. Think hungry, hungry hippos. Alright, we got enough length. Head over to the way station on the left side and up into the teleporter. 17 seconds remaining. 16 seconds. Alright, up at the top here, we can kill that computer monitor. We don't have a lot of time, and whenever you get very low on time, the dispenser will start spitting out just yellow alien pibble boppers, and that's how you'll know that you're close to dead though. But those yellow ones are worth 3 Nibbly Pibbly points, so eating them can quickly get us to our goal. And that's our best bet. We only have 5 seconds, hit the way station, and we made it to the flying saucer. We've done it. We've beaten Snake, Rattle, and Roll, and even the bonus level on Sega. All we can do now is sit back, relax, and enjoy the cheesy ending. In a lot of ways, this does give us the answers we were looking for. The snakes wanted to go to space because they were aliens all along, and they just wanted to go back home. Congratulations! we completed Snake Rattle and Roll. This is one of the most brutally difficult games both on the NES and the Sega Mega Drive. It's time to tally up our final score. Well, I hope this video was able to help you finally beat Snake Rattle and Roll. If it did, make sure to give it a like, and make sure to subscribe for more videos. Because there will always be more alien reptiles that need to get back to their home planets. And that's why we'll be back again next week with another video game you can beat. Thanks for watching.